Hey team, wanted to make a video. I'm failing at this video. Sorry, this is my third take, but we're gonna try it. So, um, someone brought to my attention that it is 7 years since I graduated from college in 2026, which is coming up next year. Kind of a big deal because I was joking. I originally went to college a long time ago. This is going to age me. This is going to date me. I graduated from high school in 2008, and I was supposed to graduate from college originally in 2012. And I think that I made videos about this where I didn't graduate. I transferred schools, and the education system wasn't lining up, so I decided to drop the education system or the education program. In the education system. I was in secondary education. So, uh, so I was kind of having this crisis moment because I had wanted to be a French teacher for forever. So then I was dropping the education program. And I wanted to teach high school, and then I thought, okay, well, I can do the French, and then maybe I can get a master's and be a French professor. But that didn't pan out. I started panicking. I started doubting my ability, and I gave up the degree. I had one semester left. I had to study abroad in France, and then I would have my French degree, and I couldn't do it. So I left school one semester before I was done. I didn't have the degree, and I was like thousands of dollars in debt. It was more like than I had ever seen, and I hadn't had a job, like a real job. I just had like summer jobs, and so I didn't know what I was doing, and I just felt like my entire life had come crashing down because I didn't get my degree. I was thousands of dollars in debt. I didn't know how to live. I didn't know how to work. I didn't know what I was doing because my life purpose, my life direction fell through. And I was thinking that it was, the education system was so flawed, and there are flaws to the education system, but I just didn't know, what to do about it. So I was just having this huge crisis moment. That lasted a very long time. I became fixated on paying off my student loans. I gotta pay off my student loans. I gotta pay off my student loans, and so I can go back to school. I gotta go back to school. I gotta pay off my student loans and go back to school. I gotta pay off my student loans, pay off my student loans, and that was like my lifestyle for a very long time, for years. I was paying rent and then paying student loans, and I can't go to the zoo with you guys. I have to pay off my student loans. So I don't have money. I'm putting it towards my student loans. I just don't have the money to be social with you right now, and so I kind of have stopped living. And it was no, but I'm paying off my student loans, and then I had a family tragedy, a family crisis. So that was, I was worried about student loans from probably 2012 through this family crisis, which happened in 2015, where I lost 5 members of my family in a murder suicide, and then I lost another family member that I spent a good deal of time with, or that it was quality time, so it probably wasn't in the grand scheme of things a lot of time, but it was quality time. It was time well spent, and I really appreciated it. So I really liked this relative, and she passed on. It was fairly traumatic as well. She was in a coma after an accident, and it was just very sad. So, and it was all kind of in one fell swoop. It was like in the like a month between, and so I had this complete mental health breakdown, and I ended up pulling myself up out of it well enough to go back to school, but I was still suffering a lot of the symptoms. So I did end up going back to school. I didn't actually get my student loans paid off. I went back to school first, and I did end up getting my degree. I went back in 2017. I was getting back into the swing of things 7 years after, and I graduated about 7 years after. After I was supposed to. I graduated in 2019, so it was 7 years after 2012, which is when I was supposed to graduate. So the 7 years was was meaningful there, and now it's next year is 7 years from when I graduated officially from college after my 7 years of just like I was very bedraggled. I feel like my life was completely destroyed because my entire life direction was, and I was in debt, and I hated myself. I kept saying, I want to live, I don't know how to do this, and what is the next step? I have to get back to school. I was fixating, I was trying to figure it out, but I just didn't know. And it was very unhealthy. And so having gotten my degree gave me closure, and then paying off my student loans also gave me closure from that. But it was not healthy. It was really, really not good. So now we are 7 years after I got my degree, only a couple years after I paid off my student loans. It's only been a couple years since that actually happened. So woohoo! But I did. I've got a bunch of debt because I didn't work last year, because I still have some residual. I had some mental health concerns, and then I was just working so much because I worked a lot, and so I was just like, I need a break. I am so burnt out. I'm beyond burnt out, and so I took a break, and I probably made a bunch of different videos. There are a lot of variables that went into it, of course, and so I could have cited other reasons for, I wanting to change the world. That is another thing. I wanted to change the world. I wanted to change it so it's more approachable, more accessible, and more sustainable, and that is a big thing. But it's, I'm still living at home, and so it's 7 years after, and so the defeatist was like, guess what? You're still living at home. You're still a loser. So someone had also said, we've come full circle. After her life was destroyed in 2011, she moved home and she was working from home, living with her parents, and guess what? Where she is after she got her degree? She's still living at home. It's been 14 years, and that is one of the things where it's like, oh my gosh, it's been 14 years. It's going to be our 20-year anniversary from our high school graduation soon, and it's been so long. So it's just a lot of numbers and a lot of like dates and a lot of time that has gone by. And so someone was like, you have nothing to show. And of course I'm trying to like change the entire society, and I'm trying to like innovate and entrepreneur and do all these things, but by traditional standards, I don't have a house, I don't have a family, I don't have like a longitudinal career, I don't have a lot of those things that are those milestones. I don't have the kids, I don't have anniversaries, I can celebrate anniversaries of other people, but I've just so it's a little bit like, oh no, gross. And so I've got a few months left before my official 7-year graduation date, which was, I believe, in May. So I'm going to try to knock these next couple months out of the park. I'm going to try and rock it so that way I feel accomplished, and there's not a single chance that this was all for nothing. Because that would be so sad to have finally gotten the closure on the student loans, the closure on the education, and of course a lot of people get degrees and it doesn't like pan out, but and so you are just entered into the workforce and things, but I'm going to refuse to allow this to be for naught. We're going to close the loop. I'm living at home with my parents again, and it is a choice because I'm trying to change the world. But we're gonna see where that goes. I am trying to change that. Obviously, I've made a bunch of videos now. I'm not sure what the next step is gonna be. I'm not sure what the next step is gonna be, and I don't know what the next step is gonna be. But I'm going to try and be proactive, and I want to. I don't want to give any haters any reason to believe that that's true, because that would be so dismissive and so insulting after the struggle that I have been through, because it's been a life. It's been 14 years. It's since it's so long, and it's so much energy, and it's like passion and sadness and brokenness has been just like put into that, that I, and obviously, I still have things. I said, like I was just completely burnt out after working for so long, like having so many hours trying to make it something important, trying to make it important, trying to catch up, after my mental health problems. Like it was so severe and it was so tough, and I'm not going into detail here, but it was a huge just journey. It was a battle, it was a fight, and so like stress is still a thing, and there's so much to it, and that stuff doesn't just go away. So there's a lot of healing that's happened. Like I said, I got a lot of closure on the things that were busting me up the first 7 years of my 14 years of between still living at the house, now living in the house again. I've had a number of different adventures and experiences in houses and apartments, or apartments more, but so we're gonna try and just really kick butt in these next couple years, because those people, those haters that say, "Look what you have to show," nothing. You have nothing to show when I'm trying to like heal the world and heal myself, and after in spite of all this bullshit. No, part of my language, like fuck them. So we're gonna kick butt. So we've got a few months until we've got the May, the 7 years. 7 years is important, and we are going to kick the butt. We are going to rock it. We are going to make this world a better place, and I'm gonna come out shiny after. So there we go. All right, that's all for now. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh, if you do have suggestions, let me know. Okay, bye.